So hi, I'm Matt. I'm Head of Growth at Swanky. Thanks for watching our Tips in 10 series, where we seek the best advice from our partners to help online retailers adapt to the rapidly changing e-commerce environment. So today we've got Andrew from Linnworks. So over to you, Andrew. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Linnworks?
Sure. Yeah. Firstly, thanks very much for inviting us to join you on this YouTube series that you're doing. Yeah. So my name's Andrew Thompson, and I manage partnerships at Linnworks. For those of you who may not have heard of us, Linnworks is an inventory and order management system. So we work with retailers, helping them automate their entire online selling process, typically across their e-commerce platforms, and for those selling on multiple marketplaces.
Excellent. So as the coronavirus kind of continues to affect businesses, many of them are faced with the challenge of staff shortages and slower delivery speeds. So the question that we've got first off is, how can online retailers manage these challenges and therefore customer expectations around extended delivery times?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the key things which kind of comes across the whole business in this area is communication. So obviously these are difficult times, and particularly the kind of fulfillment, delivery, courier space is being, worked like it's never been before. So I think managing the consumer's kind of expectation levels from the start is pretty key, and one that will kind of help you long term in a lot of other areas of the business as well. So just a little kind of example of that is where, if I'm a consumer and I'm buying something and I see that it's expected delivery within 2-3 days, and it goes past that point and it turns up a week later, there's a good chance that on day 3, 4, or 5 that I'm going to reach out to the retailer's support lines to actually kind of try and get an idea of where that is. But if from the beginning the kind of the business or the retailer set the expectations and said a 7-day delivery time or whatever it may be, I think the consumer understands the situation. So yeah, I think the key point is around the communication levels, but also is making sure that it's realistic. So you don't want to be over promising and under delivering, because that's not good for anybody.
No, that makes complete sense. So is there anything that automation can do to help retailers save time when it comes to managing their orders? And is there anything that could be done to help them cope with this increased demand, ultimately making their life a little bit less stressful?
Yeah, sure. So automation is something that people definitely want to bring into their business, particularly as a kind of scaling out. How it can kind of help in this area, automation obviously removes the risk of human error. Nobody's perfect, so that's going to save you a lot of kind of time and ultimately money if things are done correctly via automation. Automation can also ensure that everything is kind of running at the speed that it should be. It speeds up your kind of fulfillment processes, for example, and make sure that nobody is spending a lot of time doing those mundane jobs that ultimately automation is there for. So, on our side from Linnworks, there's lots of different solutions and macros, for example, that we put into the system, and partners of ours who enable that automation, which is definitely going to help the retailers. So you don't want to be kind of spending time sifting through those spreadsheets, etc., when something can automate that.
Sure. And Linnworks will pull in information from different sales channels. So if we've got someone who is selling on Facebook and on their website and over the phone, it all integrates.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we sit in the market. So we integrate with hundreds of kind of marketplaces, e-commerce platforms, as well as the couriers. So all the orders that are coming in from those various channels are being pulled into Linnworks. So it essentially becomes that centralized hub for you guys as a retailer, meaning it's going to assist you, one, because you've got a kind of source of truth. Everything's coming into one, which helps your kind of stock levels as well, because that's one thing that you don't want to be doing as a retailer, is getting all these sales in, which are great, but you're overselling because you haven't got the products either in-house or at the fulfillment center that you're using. So that's kind of exactly where we sit and how we're assisting retailers selling online.
Excellent. Okay, so for looking at those who are trying to diversify, have you got any tips for those that might be looking to scale a different area of their business at pace, and how they could use a platform like Linnworks?
Yeah, sure. So ultimately, the consumers are running the world, as it were. It's kind of changed. We're used to be kind of brand centric, but now people are expecting to be able to, jump online on whatever device it may be and be able to buy the products that they want and have that same experience across the board. Meaning that retailers need to be selling their products in all of those, be it marketplaces and platforms, to give themselves the best opportunity of capturing the sale. So what you kind of want to do is not have all your eggs in one basket by just selling on your website or just selling on a marketplace such as Amazon. You need to be looking at the other marketplaces that are available to you. There's another reason as well, because you're eliminating the risk of being held to that specific marketplace, for example. So, if Amazon strip back on their range that they're selling and you're not seen as one of those essential ranges, then all of a sudden nobody can buy your product. But by having them across a various selection of marketplaces gives you a better chance of making the sale. There's also the case as well that I'd always say to a client is, do your research into those other marketplaces that are available that may specialize in your particular vertical. Because you've obviously got the big names everyone knows about, Amazon and eBay, but there are a whole host of others that are doing pretty well. And from our side, and the data that we see, are growing pretty quickly. So it's just doing that research, having a look, checking them out, and also the benefits to the retailer at the moment is you can get some pretty good rates on there as well. The fees that you'll be paying, these other marketplaces are looking for that business, so I definitely advise checking that out.
Great stuff. Okay. Well, thanks, Andrew, for your advice at this time, and thank you at home for watching. If you'd like to keep up to date with the next video in our series, hit like and subscribe. And if you want to discuss any of today's topics in detail, contact us on the form on swankyagency.com.